The biggest challenge with making compost is that it takes long, and if you try to make compost fast using the hot composting method, it's labor intensive. And to make lots of compost, you'll need a lot of material to begin with. But that shouldn't be a problem in the fall. You could pause the video right now and make a list of the things that you could get. I just finished mowing the leaves and material over with the lawnmower. What this will do by running them over first with the lawnmower is break it down into smaller pieces so the worms and composting microorganisms will be attracted to our pile, and it will make it easier for them to break it down so that we could get compost faster. When you hear about composting, you'll sometimes hear people mention the phrase greens to brown or name a ratio like 30:1, which could make it seem quite confusing to you. But being a newcomer to composting, it's better to keep it simple first and not worry about the fancy terms and more in-depth stuff, and instead focus on learning the basics. The key important things you'll need to know to get started is that there are greens and that there are brown. Green material is what heats up the pile and is used more in hot composting. And then there are brown materials. They help balance out the pile so it doesn't smell bad, keep the pile aerated and fluffy, as well as feed the microbes and the decomposing workers like worms. And the second key basic you'll need to know is diversity. You'll want to have a wide range of ingredients because some ingredients may have more of a certain nutrient in it than others. So by adding a wide variety of ingredients to your compost bin, it's going to make it a more mineral and nutrient-rich compost that a plant can choose from the nutrient and mineral that it needs to be healthy and productive. After you mowed over the material with the mower, you have to collect it. To do that, I'm going to be using this mower bag attachment. You'll also have to adjust your mower to a low setting, that way it could collect it better. This here is the final material that we're going to be using for our compost. Now that I got a wheelbarrow of our material that's been mowed, let's head on over. Composting systems and bins can be a little costly, so to keep this project an easy project as well as a cheap one, I'm going to just be using a few stakes in the ground and some chicken wire wrapped around with some zip ties to hold everything together, and that's what's going to be used to hold the compost material. If you don't have some mesh available, another option is that you could get a few skids and hold them together with some screws. Now that we got our composting system all set up, I'm going to be adding in the material. If you want, for the base of your compost, you could add some cardboard to help try reduce some weeds. I also gathered some extra browns here. These browns have a lot of air gaps in between them, which will feed the worms and the decomposing microorganisms in the base of our pile. I got some dead cucumber plants, some cattail, you could use that, and I got also some pea shoots down in the base of this container. There's a pea. Ooh, I'll eat this. Next you can add in your mold materials. And then near the base of your pile, you're going to want to add your kitchen scraps, as the worms are going to be coming up from the ground. And you can keep adding some kitchen scraps to the pile every so often when you have them. If your yard is dry and there's not a lot of earthworms present, here's the bonus tip that I have for you. Take a cup or more of some wheat bran or some cornmeal and add it to your pile, and the worms will come crazily looking for this stuff. And with your wheat, you want to make sure to add it near the bottom of your pile. That way the worms can get to the food easier. You also want to make sure to wet your piles so that the earthworms will come because they like a moist environment. The only problem with the compost that I made last year is that I didn't make enough. Last year I only had about 1 foot of material, and then when it all decomposed down, it only got to about 3 or 4 inches, and I can't get my hands on enough of that black gold now. So make sure this year when you're making your compost pile to make sure to pile it up 3/4 of the way or as much as you can. This is as much as the bin that I could fill because I don't have enough ideas. But if you have some ideas, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. That way we can all learn from you. Thank you. And you may have to ask some neighbors if you could get their leaves that they're throwing out so that you could fill up your bin. And you'll have lots of rich compost in about 6 to 10 months. Before I show the results of this compost, I just want to explain that we live in a northern climate where almost 6 months, that's half the year, the ground is covered in snow, which slow down the decomposition process because it's so cold. Which explains that you could have compost faster than me, so you could be having compost in 3 or 4 months. And this right here is a handful of the beautiful, rich black gold that we all want to achieve. It's crumbly, it's fluffy, has a foresty, sweet aroma to it. This is rich, amazing compost, and the best part of it is that I didn't even have to do any work after setting up this pile last year. It's free compost that's homemade and it's nutritious for all your plants. Now if you'd like to add free nutrients back to your raised garden beds that'll feed your plants, here are 9 things you must bury in your garden before winter. And please subscribe for more great videos like these. Thank you.